I welcome all of you to today's session of Visual Jforex, in which we'll be continuing to work with the indicator named Absolute Price Oscillator (APO). This is the third part, and in today's session, I will try to complete the setup for the algorithm using this indicator. So let us head to the Visual Jforex board, which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. So far, in prior sessions, I had done this algorithm design, and here we have added the instrument subscription blocks. For that, the conditions have been defined using these if blocks, and then there is a APO indicator blocks, historical candles, clusters. This is get historical candles, and this one is get historical candle. So this is single, this is a cluster of 4 candles, and we get the output as the array of data. And to retrieve the individual variables, we will be using this loop viewer. And then to pinpoint the exact point, entry point, these two 10-second candles will be used. To define the conditions, we have also used the calculation expressions. So here is this design, and on the lower side, these if else blocks have been used to set the conditions. Now, in this session, we will have to define one variable for these pending open block, the order validity. Order validity, we will keep it valid for 1 hour, so I will define that, and then we will start building the sell side logic. So let us now get to the business, and we will first thing we will do is going to be this calculation for the order validity. I will disconnect this. And here we will have to take the on tick time and add 3.6 million ticks, and for that I will have to create a new variable, and its value will be 3.6 million. Okay, I think I have got zeros right. And in 1 hour there are 3.6 million ticks. Suppose if you want to change the order validity and keep it valid for 2 hours, or for example 1.5 hour, then you will have to simply multiply this tick amount by the desired variable, and you will have that much order validity. Otherwise, you simply have to do is add a1, that is last tick time, plus 3.6 millions. So your order will be valid for 1 hour. Okay, and this we have to be a bit careful here, as the variable output variable needs to be of the same data type as we need for the filling of this variable here, and it is of long data type. So I will create the variable here itself, and it will be OET, and we will derive its value from this calculation, so it will work just fine. Okay, now let me take you to the Jforex chart, where I have plotted the APO indicator on the hourly time frame for the Euro USD, and for sale side we need the APO values to be in decline, and it should have just recently crossed below 0 from above 0, and for that we want its last hour's APO value to be below 0, whereas the APO value 3 hours back should have been above 0. So we will have the 2-hour window for the execution of the sale trade. And also at the same time we want enough of momentum, and for that we will be looking at the high and the low of the historical candle cluster of last 4 hours. So there should be difference of at least more than 20 pips, and also we want the closing price of last hourly candle to be below its opening price. That means there was good enough selling momentum, and also the closing price should be at least 15 pips below the high of this cluster of 4 candles. So for that also we will have to carry out fresh calculations. So let us now again come back to the Visual Jforex board. We have these predefined variables which we will use as set values, which we will then compare to the actual values. And for deriving actual values, we will have to carry out new calculations. So again, I will take a couple of calculation expression block, and here we will need to deduct the last hour candle close from the cluster high of 4 hours, and for that we will have to take HCV candle high, there it is, and deduct the candle 17's closing value. A1 minus A2. So this will be actual difference for the sell side. Okay. This needs to be greater than the closing difference 15 pips, which we have defined earlier. The high-low difference has already been calculated, and then comes the question of defining the selling point, and the sale order is going to be placed above the market price, and it will be below 7 pips from the cluster of last 4-hour candles high, and for that we will have to simply deduct the closing value. No, we will have to deduct the calculated 7 pips. So here is this from the highest value. So we take high and deduct MBD. Pardon me. Okay. And here this will be A1 minus A2, and this will be our sell execution price, SAP. Okay, so now I think we have done most of the calculations which we need to define the conditions for execution of the sell order. If we have missed out on anything, we can simply revisit and calculate again. But for the time being, I will join this. Okay. And let us now start defining the necessary conditions for execution of the sell order. So we need logical blocks. We will take a couple of if blocks straight away. And as I said, first thing we will have to look is at APO values, and we need last our APO value to be below 0. So first input less than second input. Then we want the APO value 3 hours back to be above 0. So first input greater than second input. We also want the last hourly candle to have closed with price decline, and for that we are going to need candle 17's close to be sorry, not this, close to be below the opening price. Okay, first input less than second input. We also want good enough price momentum. For that, the actual high low difference should be more than 20 pips. So here first input needs to be greater than second input, and also we want the last hour candle close to be more than 15 pips below the high value, and for that we will have to compare this calculation output with the difference which we had earlier defined. Okay, so now I think we are all set to define the final conditions. Here this one needs to be greater than. Okay, so I will now take this if blocks where they belong, and now we want the order to be executed provided all other conditions are in place as and when the price starts to drop below the last hourly candle close. And for that, this 10-second candle, so shift value 1 and 2 respectively will be helpful. So we want the candle 18's close. We'll first take candle 17's close in both these blocks. Candle 17 is last hourly candle. Here it is. And then candle 19's close needs to have been above this candle 17's close. First input greater than second input, and then candle 18, which has a look back period of 1, to have close below this candle 17's candle close. Okay, so now we take pending open, and this will be a limit order, sell limit. It's sell price we have already calculated, which is going to be 7 pips below the candle high. So this is trade amount 0.1 million, should be good enough. Slippage 2 pips. Stop loss will be fixed this time, static 10 pips and 20 pips combination we will use. And order validity is going to be 1 hour. Same as buy side. So all the conditions have been defined which are necessary for the execution of the sale trade, and this is symmetric to the buy side setup. Both these execution conditions on both the sides, actually on the sell side and on the buy side, are symmetrical, just inverted. So here we are. This is the final version, and with that, this session also comes to a close. I hope you have been able to understand what I have tried to explain to you and how you can design and develop the algorithm, which is functional and also might be. First, we will need to check it on the data on the historical tester. Then only we can say whether it is profitable or not. So I would suggest that you design and develop the algorithm, and then you test it on the prior data to see whether it is good or not to run on the buy account. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me the feedback, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Do subscribe to the Dukascopy webinar channel to stay updated on the market developments. Till next time, goodbye.